Hey, welcome back. Have you ever struggled with making projects? Would you like to learn some easy ways to quickly make boxes or other types of shapes that glue up easily on your laser or CNC? Then this video is for you. We're going to show you some really great free tools to make it happen. So let's dig in. The first tool is an online site called Makercase. The site has you covered with basic boxes, including ones with dividers. I use this a lot to start my designs. So let's start out by building a basic box. We simply give it the dimensions we want and tweak the settings. It also has a really cool preview function so you can see what it'll look like. We can set the thickness of the material, which is important so that the finger joints are sized properly. We can choose to have a top or not for our box. Next, we figure out how we want the sides and bottom connected. I prefer finger joints. They glue together nice and are really strong. This tool allows you to adjust how big the finger joints are. Once we have it the way we want it, we are ready to download the design. We have a few options here, including how to adjust for the kerf or the part of the wood that gets cut away. These are the settings you will tweak if your design is too tight or too loose when you go to assemble it. For my purposes, I choose an SVG file, which is a scalable vector file, which is what we need for cutting. Let's design a quick tray with dividers in it so you can see how that works. Again, we start out working on the dimensions of the tray. We can set the finger joints. We can also set up how many compartments are in our tray. Next, we preview the design and again download the file so we can use it in our laser, CNC, or vinyl cutter. So now I'm jumping over to Lightburn. We can simply drag the file into Lightburn. Sometimes all the pieces will come in as a single design, so we right-click and ungroup the pieces. Since this is a fairly large box, I will have to break it into two sessions. So I move what won't fit out of the way and set them to different layers it isn't going to cut. Preview shows me I still had the setting to fill, so I change it to line and now it's ready to cut. Dragging our divided tray over, it works the same way. We have to ungroup it and we just keep what will fit on the bed of the laser or my piece of wood. We preview it, and by zooming in, I can see how the pieces will lock together during assembly. Now if you want, you can draw all this out by hand, if you want, but that takes most of the guesswork out of it and lets me spend my time doing more creative things. Something else to note, you can't just resize this once you get it into your software. If you do, it will resize the finger joints and nothing will fit. If you need a different size, go back to the Makercase tool and regenerate the box again. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you some of the items I've made using this very method that have some creative twist to them. Okay, next let's jump over to another online tool, Template Maker. It is more designed for cutting paper, but some of the items will work for wood and our laser as well. Like before, we can plug in our dimensions we want, and it gives us more options to save it. I'm going to choose SVG again and save it to my computer. And just like before, I can drop the file right into Lightburn and set up the layers the way I want it. I generate it again, and this time I save it as a PDF. You could print this out on paper and use a router or bandsaw to create a template if you wanted. No CNC or laser needed. Scrolling through the site, it has some incredible designs that are free for you to configure and use. Maybe you need a shipping box of a certain size or a different shape than a square box. This site has some cool stuff. Okay, next we head over to Boxes.py. This is like the other choices that simply creates the designs. This only kicks out a PDF file, which by the way, Lightburn will read. Not my favorite, but it's out there. Probably one of my most favorite tools is Boxes.py. It has a ton of very unique designs you can make. The downside is it doesn't have a preview function like Makerboxes, but it gives you very fine control over the design. But hey, don't let all the boxes intimidate you. You usually only need to tweak a couple of things. Once we have the box designed, it kicks out an SVG file. Lightburn complains about the text that comes over with it, but it ignores it. So then, just like before, we can slide things around to fit our machine. Here's some examples from their website of the cool items you can make with just a few clicks of the mouse. The living hinge is cool on some items also. Here's a cabinet and drawers example. Remember, you can resize this to fit your needs. One other cool thing that it does is generate gears you can cut out if you need something like that. Now on to some bonus tips we think you'll find helpful. If you go to Google and type mm or millimeter to inches, it will display a conversion tool for you that you can go back and forth between metric and standard measurements. Google Images also has tons of conversion tables if you prefer to look it up that way. Bonus tip number 2. Another great resource for files that will get you started is Facebook. There are many groups out there that share files like this toy group you're seeing. Bonus tip number 3, Thingiverse.com. Now Thingiverse is mainly used for 3D printing files, but they also have some designs that can be used on other machines. The downside is you may have to settle for whatever size they design it for. I sometimes use this to generate ideas on what I want to make. There's some very cool creative people out there. Most of these come with instructions, and some offer file formats like SVG, but some do not. CorelDRAW is another graphics program many use. I don't have that program, so if I find a design that I really like, I can use Cloud Convert to convert from a CDR or Corel file to an SVG file I can use. This is also handy for a lot of things if you need to convert between formats. So to wrap things up, here's some things I've cut using these tools. Again, the tool starts my design and frees me up to be creative beyond it. So, I hope you got some value from this video. Comment below with your favorite tools or questions. Until next time, get out there and make something cool.